Okay, nakurap yung isa kong file. So I'm going to be using this slide exported to PDF. DFS stands for Distributed File System. So what is DFS? DFS is a file share replicated across multiple servers and location to increase uptime and reduce access issues related to geography, such as latency, no, yung mabagal, and small bandwidth. Limited yung connectivity. So Microsoft DFS is a role which you can install on server to auto-synchronize files between different servers. It will give you a unified namespace, unified URL. Only one URL can access everything, whether they are in London, Sydney, or New York. So you can always access the file anytime. No? And the one closest to you. You can set up a HA. Let's say one host goes down, the other host will go up. No? It should be up and can be accessed the file. Steps to set up DFS. First, you have to enable the DFS in both servers. Next is you have to create a unified naming convention, URL, unified resource locator. And next, you have to set up replication between two sites, let's say Sydney, London. And then you have to set up yung software repo for Desktop Central. So I'll give you high level what will happen. So this one. So you have users in New York and you have users in London. Normally, users in New York access the file servers in New York. Users in London access the file in London for low latency. No, low latency. Mas mabilis. It's much faster if you access your local server. Then for some reason, na-disconnect, yung server in London is not available during upgrade. No? So what will happen, users in London will be routed to server in New York. Okay? Parang failover, di ba? Failover. In the background, DFS service is doing file replication. It's using a vector protocol. A vector protocol is the one responsible for copying any newly created file from one server to another. So if not replicating, you need to restart vector service. Okay. So the concept behind that is, let's say you have domain, dito marketing, dito naman here, the name is different. No? Pero they're synchronizing the same file. The reason is being different because each country has their own naming convention. Okay? So we will perform configuration to both server 1 and 2. For example, New York is server 1, London server 2. And then I'm going to log in using UNC path name, and I'm going to save a file to that file. And then I'm going to check if it's replicating properly. Remember, during the first install, there's a delay of 5 minutes. No? 5 minutes because it's doing a cache, performing a cache, and caching setting up the cache. No? Setting up the cache. But the next 5 minutes, now within 10 minutes, you can, the file will be synchronized every second. The moment you save file dito, here, it will propagate it here, and vice versa. Okay? So highly resilient, highly available, failover file server. Okay? Ang ganda na scenario niya. Ito yung question kanina. No? Let's say this one is down. You can still access this. No? Let's say the users from server 3 nag-save ng file dito. It will be propagated here and vice versa. Okay? So it is called DFS. So add roles in DFS. I already provided a script. So we have a script for DFS. Let me find the script. DFS. Okay, here. So this is the command. It's a very simple command. One-liner lang siya. So I'm gonna open ICE. Server 2. Where's our server 2? Ito yung server 2 natin. Server 2. So we will do a remote installation. Okay. You can find the ICE dito. PowerShell and PowerShell, no? Or if you want the one with ICE, open run as admin. Okay? Run as admin. So I'm gonna log into server 2 as well, just to give you an idea what's happening. Okay? Para makita. So you can see what's really happening dito. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new script. The script is very simple. Invoke command um, will execute simultaneous command to multiple users. So you can specify multiple server. You can specify server 1, okay, server 2, and then the actual command you want to run. So what do I want to run? I want to install Windows feature. The name is file server DFS namespace role file server DFS replication role, and lastly the remote server admin tool ng DFS. Okay? mgmt dash management console ended with curly braces. So if I run this one, if there's no typo error, this will install 3 roles on 2 servers. Okay? Yan, running na. Hindi niya makita. So, let's read the error. The role or feature is not valid. Nalimutan ko ng S. I forgot the letter S. Ayun. Typo error. And then, he can't recognize server 2 ba? Oh, let's run again. Sige. Let's run again. So I just missed S. Yun, it's running. So it's typo error. I just missed letter S. So what it will do, it will install 3 rows on 2 servers, hitting 2 birds in 1 stone. Okay, that's the power of PowerShell. So what I'm installing, DFS. So as you can see, wala pang DFS. There's no DFS. Later on, once it's done, there will be a DFS role here. No? Same with this one. There's no DFS. Okay. There's no DFS. Oh, meron na. There's a DFS. Okay. So we just finish. Okay. So let's finish everything. Pero here, server 2, may DFS naman. No? Oh, yun, meron na. A while ago, wala pa, right? Okay, let's wait until it's finished. So, done on the first and second server. Tapos, no? Tapos na. Do we need to restart? Sabi nito, no, you don't need to restart. Just launch straight away. So, server, DFS. May itsura ng DFS. Let's see. Yan. So you have a namespace and replication. Namespace is the URL that you need to create. Okay. So new namespace for the first time. The first master will be server 1. Server 1. Okay. And then the name that will be publicly accessible will be marketing. Okay, so this is the UNC URL. I want everyone to access Nexus local/marketing. So I'm gonna put marketing group. Then you have to grant full permission. If you miss this one, you're gonna have a big problem. No, so user customer permission, grant full to everyone, and grant full to domain admin. Ideally, not everyone, only who has access to the file server. Okay? Let's say marketing, sales, ganun lang. No? So domain, everyone. This is only for demo. Okay. So marketing will be the URL. And then The way you access is nexus.local.marketing. Okay, kinap again. So what's the difference between the two? Domain-based is you access using domain. Server standalone, you access using the NetBIOS name. Okay, so let's create our namespace. So that's the namespace. Okay, done. Tapos ang ating namespace. Next step is what else? Properties. Okay, referrals, cache duration in seconds hand. So there will be 300 seconds to do caching, okay? And optimize for consistency. So as much as possible, consistent ang content ng file. Okay, next one is replication. So which server it will replicate? That's a question, okay? So create the replication group. Let's create new replication group. So everything I do is under these steps. Okay. Okay, mahabang process yan. So multi-purpose replication, this option configure replication between two or more. Okay. So we have two or more. So we have two. No, London, Sydney. I want data to be replicated for both server. Replication in a group, merong central server that you pass the data and then you need to download from that hub. Okay. So I'm going to select multipurpose. Name of replication group. Replication group is London. From London, server 1 yan. Sabihin ko S1 to Sydney, which is S2. Okay? Domain, auto-detected. So first group will be server 1. Okay. Yeah. Second server will be server 2, which is London. And then Sydney. London or Sydney, whatever. No? So it's trying to contact the server and he will be part of the replication group. So kina-contact niya to. Yun, na-contact na niya. So that will be a replication group member. Okay? The setup will be mesh. Mesh meaning you can, if you have 4 or more file server, they can be a multi-master. Everyone can send and everyone can upload. Okay. And then replicate continuously using the full bandwidth, which is the fastest one, 24 hours replication. Or if you want to replicate between 9 to 5, you can do so. Select the time, 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Siguro ito. Yeah, 9 a.m. Ganun. I would like to do replication 24/7 nonstop. And who will be the master? So you have to select the master. Usually the first one is the master. You have to specify which folder does the copy will go. No, so usually DFS root, and you can rate the one we created a while ago, which is marketing folder. Okay, marketing folder. And then take note of the permission, custom permission. Everyone, ayan, wala yung everyone. It's only administrators and system. Okay. Replication will be performed by the system account, not by domain account. Okay. You know, system account, the auto-generated account for Windows. Okay. Okay. Ano pa? Next. Server 2, which is a member group, it's asking where it will replicate. Okay? Remember server 1, DFS marketing. How about server 2? Saan magre-replicate? So you have to define the path. This is server 2. See, there's no marketing. So you have to create marketing folder. Okay? Marketing folder. Yeah, so it will replicate under marketing. folder. Next, review the settings. No? Server 1 will replicate to server 2 and server 2 will replicate server 1. So yun ang connection nila. Review success. Tapos. Okay, so London to Sydney, Sydney to London. Okay, so connections, server 1 to server 2. Replicated folder. Using the standard namespace. Delegation, system account will be the one performing replication. Okay, so magre-replicate yung 1 to 2 on a different folder level. Okay? And currently, it's enabled. It has staging for 4 GB staging or caching. Ito na. So let's map the file server sa server 3. Sorry, use server 3 nga. Server 3. Because server 3 is our test server, right? Or let's say Windows 10. This is Windows 10. So we will try if we can access the replication. So first, you need to map. So dapat in English, there should be a mapping. Okay, let's say a group share. Group share is Nexus local marketing. Does the share URL? Oh, it's asking. No, sa marketing group, I haven't added the user. That's why it's asking. Okay, so instead of, kasi initially meron administrators lang right? So I'm gonna sign out. I would like to log in sa administrator. Kasi may permission siya to both servers. Pero not necessarily. Pwede sa Andrea, but you have to log in. You have to add them dun sa folder na ginawa mo, to the folder you created. And you have to log in as domain admin for testing purpose only. Okay, I'll just show you again the location of the file. So in server 1, the location of the file is under DFS roots marketing. DFS roots, okay. Marketing, okay. Server 1. But sa server 2, on server 2, we have a different folder. It's under marketing only, correct? Just want to show you the difference. It doesn't matter where it's located as long as you define under replication group. So here we have a marketing folder. Busy siya, busy. Marketing folder. Okay. So server 3. So we're gonna map. Okay, I'm still logging in. Sige, question. Is there a question?
Yes, sir. Sir, ano difference nung replication sa mirroring? Hindi ba katulad
Pareho lang yan. It's just the same.
Kapares lang, sir.
Oo.
Same.
Mirroring, well, different terminology has their specific intention. No? Mirroring kasi, let's say RAID 1, you copy the physical sector from one disk to another. Replication, ipupush niya. He need to push.
Pushing.
Or downloading. Okay, so I'm gonna map the UNC path. The UNC path is nexus.local/marketing. Tama? As a group share. Okay? Ayun, may permission ako. Kasi nga admin eh. Okay? I login as admins. Pero if you login as standard user, you need to grant that permission. So this is a marketing. Okay? So I have a group mapping as a group drive, which is mapped to both server. So I'm gonna create our first test file, and this should be propagated to both. So gagawa ko ng test file created from server 3. Okay? Ayun, nakita niya? Replicated kaagad sa server 1. Ayun, server 1. Okay? I'm gonna edit the file. Let's say may user sa London naglagay ng version 1. He updated to version 1. Is it updated? So the moment you hit save, updated, should be updated here. Version 1. Let's say somebody edited directly from server 1. He put an additional revision, say version 2. And the user sees UNC path, which is drive G only. So whatever updated here, also updated to the user because they're accessing the same file. Now, if the server 1 goes down, you still have server 2. Remember? You have server 2. Server 2, server 1 is doing replication. So they should have version 2, correct? Version 2. If I added additional info, let's say version 3, direct from server 2, let's say London, and hit save, it will replicated to Sydney server as well. Tingnan nyo. Version 3. And all users, server 3, all users are seeing the same version, version 3. Di ba? Galing, ha? It's doing replication. Okay, successful. So we just created a highly available, highly resilient file server from New York to London. And it's doing on-time or online replication. What user sees is he's seeing server na nasa New York and London, nasa London. So that's what he's thinking. Pero in the background, we just created a replication group. Okay, any question?
Sir, question.
Go ahead.
Same din ba yan, sir, I don't know, sir, kung same din yung magiging effect niya pagdating sa database server.
Hindi.
I mean, sa
It's
database
different.
file.
Database
different,
file,
no?
you should create a very complicated na database kasi you're updating rows and
sir.
columns. You have to create a master database tapos replica database. So yung replica will download info from the master. That's how they replicate na. Kasi hindi yung file level replication, database level. Iba na yan. Kailangan niya ng database. So this one, yeah. So let's say someone created a file sa London. Let's say London. Kinreate ko sa London. All users will see the same file created in London. And if the user is coming from Sydney, he can see the file created in London then. Okay? Galing, no? Replication. Nagre-replicate na yan. Ito naman, let's say, created in Sydney. Ayun. Uploaded agad in Sydney server. The reason why it's so fast, kasi local lang siya. Pero if the scenario is site to site, different regions, that will take a while to do replication. Okay? Any question? Successful.
Say question.
Sige.
Yung ano pa, di ba, sir, nakita namin dyan replication, almost instantaneous.
Yes.
Pwede po bang i-schedule yung replication? I mean, there's a delay. Or schedule.
You can do a scheduling.
Kasi kakain ng bandwidth kasi yan.
Correct, kakain niya ng bandwidth. You can select the replication time from ito. Let's say edit schedule kasi naka-full You can change to UTC, let's say ayan from 12 to 12 di ba? Let's say Sunday every day ang replication period is from 9 a.m. No, pwede yun, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. only. Yan, set mo from kasi kakain niya ng bandwidth Or kung ayaw yung super busy, after office hours from 6 p.m. replicate up to 7:45 in the morning. So let's say you're replicating 100 gigabyte of data. It will be done during office hours. Okay? Yun na, nabawasan. It will be done during office hours only. Huh? So that's possible. Okay, any question?
Sir, may question.
Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, sir. For example, sir, tatlo yung location ko. Tapos may kailangan ng DFS. Then, pwede bang yung dalawang location same ng replication time? For example, yung full nga kanina, tapos yung sa isang location is by schedule lang. Pwede ba
Correct.
yun?
Pwede yun, pwede yun. It's how you set up the replication. Let's say you have another third servers. On that third server, it will be a different scenario. It will be called branch office and hub site. So you will download sa branch office, let's say from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. to your server. No? So that will be a bit complicated na. Okay, so gagawa ka na naman replication group dito. Let's say edit replication group, specify the time muli, no? Pero you have not necessarily this one kasi this group already existed, di ba? So you have to create another replication group. Okay? And then specify yung server 3 to replicate on server 1 from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning. Okay? Pwede yan. It's called hub. Ganito yung scenario mo. Data
Yes,
collection,
sir.
hub site. No? So wherein you download or wherein you push, it's up to you. The one I demonstrated to you is multi-master. Everyone is a master. They can do replication. So you can do so. Yung download only or upload only. Okay, did I answer the question?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, sir,
Okay,
may
okay.
follow-up question po ako.
Sige, go ahead, go ahead.
Sir, kasi ganito, we have some experience. Kapag kunyari meron kaming activity like backup, etc., marami activity.
Mm-mm.
Ngayon, is it possible po ba, sir, na kasi pagka nagkakaroon ng activity, syempre, sir, kumakain ng resources. Let's
Yes.
say, kasi minsan sumusobra siya ng threshold mo. Let's say, threshold mo, 70% lang. Minsan, sumusobra siya. Is it possible ba, sir, na mai-relate ko yung activity, let's say backup, kumakain siya ng resources, ayoko siya na kakainin yung resources ko para dito, para may maiiwan pa sa iba. Pwede bang mag-set yun, sir? Kasi, sir,
yeah. No, normally ang backup can be run sa amin. We run from 8 p.m. and then should stop around 12 midnight. So you can schedule in synchronization during that period.
Scheduling na lang, sir.
Oo, scheduling na lang.
Iwas na lang.
Iwas ka na lang, yes. Okay, did I answer correctly or? Okay, did I stop